Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another stroll. I'm about to walk you guys through one of the most historic districts in New York City, here in Staten Island, about 10 minutes from my house where I live. Guys, you're in for a good one. It's going to be a really relaxing walk, and I'm going to give you guys some historic tidbits pertaining to this beautiful neighborhood, this landmarked district here in Staten Island. What do you say we go for a stroll, guys? Let's go. Now, guys, you guys know that New York is not considered New England. It's not considered as part of New England, and that's because of the fact that it was first settled by the Dutch, unlike other parts of New England, including Boston and Maine, parts of Maine and Connecticut. New York is not New England. It's not considered New England, and again, because of the fact that the Dutch came here first. So what we have here is some pretty old barns. There were a lot of farms here in the past, so a lot of these old barns remain. Guys, you're in for a treat. You're gonna see some pretty cool stuff. Surprised there's nobody here. I know we just had a major thunderstorm, but it's Saturday, and I was expecting more people to be here. Usually on weekends, this place is hopping. Here's a beautiful old house. I usually sit on that porch sometimes. It's relaxing, and it's not inhabited. None of these buildings are inhabited. Here's an old tin shop. They'll give a lot of tutorials. There's blacksmiths, tinsmiths. They teach you the art of many things. Here's an old colonial home, guys. Colonial architecture, 1700s. House is still standing, and if you go for the tours, guys, it's pretty cool because the people that tour you, the people that guide you, are usually dressed in old attire. The women are dressed in like these long gowns, and the men are dressed in top hats and these old-fashioned suits. Guys, here we have a courthouse, a former courthouse. This courthouse was active until about the 1950s. Now it's not active anymore, and it's basically a museum inside. And it's been around. It's been around for a long time, guys. And up until the 1950s, it still remained active as a courthouse and county jail, or should I say detention center. Beautiful, beautiful architecture, kind of like some Greek revival going on here. Beautiful, beautiful architecture. This here is the museum. It's a really cool place. Lots of Staten Island artifacts pertaining to colonial times. Now, what we have here is a ice cream shop. This ice cream shop is just a few years old, and this restaurant here, this structure, was actually a prop for a television show called Boardwalk Empire. It was a HBO series. Many famous actors starred in it, including Steve Buscemi, among many others. Pretty big show, high budget, big production. And this was built here for the show. And what happened was Edgar's Ice Cream took it over, and it actually became a real ice cream shop. It was a fictional place, and it was just made for the television show, but now it's real. It's a real deal. It's a real ice cream shop. So if you want some ice cream and you're in Staten Island, come and get it. Edgar's. It's a little too sweet for me. I'm not a big ice cream guy. Now this structure here was transported. A lot of these buildings were transported here. This here was the original train station in a town called Newdorp, just 15 minutes north from here. This was a train station, folks. It's a bit dilapidated now, a little dilapidated, a little withered. The weather kind of screwed it up over the years, and it's a bit unkept, but it's still nice to see what the original train stations looked like on Staten Island. And we're going to cover all this, guys. It's a pretty big district. This entire neighborhood is landmarked. I want to give you guys a look at these marble basins. This is where the horses used to drink from. They would fill them with water, and the horses would drink from these basins. Oh, that's new. I never saw this. Just up ahead, guys, is the oldest remaining schoolhouse in the United States, folks. Another trace of old Dutch colonization. But what's new to me here is this. I've never seen... Oh, wow. Yeah, this is new. What in the world? Oh, my goodness. Wow. Holy cow. Somebody made this recently. Oh my goodness. Amazing. I think this is where they make the candles. Look at this teepee, guys. Holy moly, look at this thing. Oh, wow. How cool is that? Yeah, this is new. Someone just built this. This was a project, a recent project. I've never seen this here before. I walk through this neighborhood a lot. Wow. It truly transports you to another time. It's incredible. Okay, let's get moving. This here, guys, was a restaurant. An old restaurant that closed down, unfortunately, sadly. It was a German style restaurant serving German cuisine, bratwursts, and things like that. And it closed down about 8 years ago. And I was very sad when it did close down, because I mean this building is historic. And we need more German restaurants out here. We don't have we don't have too many on Staten Island. Beautiful building. It's a little dilapidated. It could use a paint job. Still beautiful nonetheless. Okay, let's move on. It's getting dark. I was going to do this earlier, but we had a major thunderstorm. Heavy rain for hours and hours, and so I had to hold off. It's about 8 o'clock. It's 75 degrees. The rain kind of reduced the humidity. Absolutely cleaned the air quality as well. Air quality is great. Guys, take a look at these buildings ahead. Again, traces of old Dutch settlements, which are very rare in New York City. When the British came eventually and took over, they tore everything down, and so there are very few traces of Dutch settlements in New York City. But here we have some. What we have here, guys, is the Voorlezer House. This was a former schoolhouse, folks. That's right, it was a public school. And if you look this place up, the Voorlezer House, I'll include a caption below so you can look it up on Google. This is the oldest schoolhouse in the United States. And here it is, 10 minutes from my house. Oh, it's beautiful out. Guys, what we see here ahead is a place called the Christopher House. I'm going to give you guys a little history behind this place. It was basically the summer home. The summer home for a politician, and there's a lot to be read here. These signs are kind of need to be refurbished a bit, but yeah, it's an 18th century farmhouse built by a governor, a politician named Thomas Dongan. It was built during the Revolutionary War. And this was his summer house. And there used to be some crops growing here, corn crops. I don't see them anymore. A few years ago, there were crops growing all over here. This was basically his farmhouse. And he had a lot of crops growing here, corn among many other things. And it was his summer retreat. Beautiful house. 1700s, old. Yeah, I'll give you guys a closer look real fast. We still have a lot of daylight left. Guys, can you believe I am 40 minutes away from Times Square? Would you ever believe I'm in New York City right now? That's right. It's not all traffic and taxis and billboards, guys. New York City is actually a lot more diverse than you would think. This is the old foundation of a former building that used to stand here. which has since been, you know, it's gone, but a lot of the stones still remain. A couple artifacts there on the grass. A cannon, a chain, an anchor. Here's an old Dutch home. Late 1600s, probably early 1700s, not sure. Again, American colonial style. Really beautiful. Here's another one. This is a treasure house. Now, I'm going to give you guys some history regarding this house. A lot of shit went down here. Pardon my language. They do a good job restoring these homes, I must say. They do a really good job. The treasure house. Built in 1700. Refurbished over the years. German immigrants operated a bakery in this building. And if you want to see the new bakery, it's just up the street there. It's called Holterman's Bakery, still owned by the same family that originally owned this place. Now, it's called the treasure house because gold coins were stored here by the British during the Revolutionary War. And so this was basically formerly used as a storage house for gold coins during the Revolutionary War. Is that incredible or what? Okay, on we go. It's a pretty high traffic area. Now, just up ahead is one of the oldest churches in New York City, called St. Andrew's Cemetery. A lot of New York's prominent citizens were buried here, and are buried here. I'm gonna give you guys a quick look. This church is absolutely gorgeous. I love this cemetery. A lot of stuff went down here too. A lot of battles during the Revolutionary War. It's called the Church of St. Andrew, guys. 300 years old. It's very active. There are masses every Sunday, I believe. Again, if you want to read about the history of this beautiful church, just pause the video and give this billboard a read. Built in 1708. Now, I'm not sure what famous people were buried here. Lots of politicians, mostly. And I'm gonna give you guys a look at a spot. I'm gonna give you guys a look at this place here where a battle took place in the 1700s during the Revolutionary War, and many people died here at this spot. And the reason why is because this church was used as a sort of armory by the British. So if you want to know about the history, give the video a pause, zoom in, read the plaques. In memory of the patriots, who under General Hugh Mercer, crossed from Perth Amboy, New Jersey, and surprised the British enemies on this very spot. And they basically stole their ammunition, and 2 of 3 Americans were killed and wounded in this action right here on this very spot, folks. Again, this was basically, the church was used as an armory, and so the Americans came here and stole the weapons from the British, and a battle took place right here on this very spot, and some soldiers were wounded. Not sure if anybody was killed. Very old cemetery, again, 1708, folks. Look at this beautiful tree. Big tree. Yep. Here's another plaque if you want to read if you want to read up on the history. Give the video a pause and zoom in and read it. There's a pet cemetery here as well. Every Halloween they throw parties in this place. This house here is the caretaker's place. He lives in there. A cemetery for all God's creatures. This here is the pet cemetery, guys. It's pretty expensive to have your pet buried here. I was thinking about it, but it is very expensive. Okay, we got a few more spots, and I'll call it a night in about 10 minutes. Again, look at this church. Look at this church, guys. It's beautiful. Romanesque revival, architectural style. Romanesque revival. Beautiful lime. Not sure what type of stones. The fireflies are starting to come out. It's about 8:45 o'clock, almost 9 p.m. It's getting darker a little sooner now. We're in mid-July. It's a nice mausoleum. Look how pretty this fence is, guys. Look how beautiful this fence is. I've photographed this cemetery and church dozens of times. Nice creek over there. Old wooden fence. Guys, this is New York City, believe it or not. It's like stepping back into time. Oh my goodness, there's a deer up ahead. A couple deers. Historic Richmond Town. Lots of events take place here, folks, so look into it. If you're visiting, take that ferry. If you're visiting Manhattan, most people come to New York City, they go to Times Square. They go right to Manhattan. Guys, you gotta hit up Staten Island. Take the ferry. Check out the deer, folks. This home here was refurbished. It burned down and it was rebuilt. Oh, be careful, dear. Oh, I get so nervous when they cross the street. Oh, goodness. Go the other way, please. Left, left, left. Their ears are tagged. Those are males. They neuter the deers here, which is kind of sad to see, but we have a deer population problem in Staten Island. There's a lot of, they get hit by a lot of cars. It's pretty sad, and so they're neutering the males. Guys, look at this old house. Is that beautiful or what? Built in 1869. It's called the Edwards Barton House. Look it up. A lot of history behind this one. And what we have here is the Guion Inn. This was a pub and an inn and store. So upstairs, you would have been able to rent out rooms in the past, grab a few beers on the first floor, and then shack up on the second floor, where they rented the bedrooms upstairs. Again, American Colonial building, preserved, beautifully preserved. Most of these buildings are. Here's another example of Dutch American colonial architecture. A preserved Dutch remnant right here. Very, very, very rare for New York City. And there's more homes up there down the block. This place goes on and on and on. Now this place is functioning as a coffee shop. You can still get your coffee. It's operating and still functioning. Beautiful outdoor patio set here. Again, we had a pretty big rainstorm, folks, so nobody's here today, which is unusual, especially for a Saturday. Usually this place is hopping. And the rain basically just subsided. So not many people are here. Okay, a couple more buildings ahead. This place here, this brown wooden home, is called the Carpenter's house. So this is where carpenters would huddle and craft their wooden specialties. If you go for a tour, I think it's only $5 on weekends, a couple hours a day. People tour you around. They let you in these homes, many of these homes, especially this one, and they teach you and they give you history lessons on how carpenters worked back then, what they did, what they needed to do to sustain the civilization at the time. So pretty interesting. I've gone on the tours plenty of times. This place here still has a printer inside, an old school press. The reason why they used to call the media the press was because they would use a steel press, which was how they would press the ink onto paper. And there's a really big old metal steel machine in there that's still in use. They use it for, aesthetics. They don't use it for, they're not making newspapers or anything like that, but they still use it to teach people about the history of the old way of making newspapers and posters and things like that. Job printing. And right here, guys, we have a grocery store, a general store, folks. Dutch Colonial, American style architecture. This place has been here for a very long time. They preserved it. When you walk in there, I've been inside. They still have old products that used to be sold, old chewing gum, tobacco products, you name it. It's really impressive inside. I really recommend going for a tour when you visit historic Richmond Town. A couple families still around going for the ice cream at Edgar's. Looks like there's more people hanging around now that the rain has stopped. So maybe we'll get a good look at some ice cream, and then I'll call it a stream. Let's hope. Let's see if we can get some good looks at some ice cream. I think I missed this part. Old cemetery here. Specific people were buried here. I think it's just a family. I think it's a family burial ground. I think they're all related to people buried here behind the courthouse. Check out this old firebox. In case of an emergency, you just press the buttons. The rain has stopped, and people are coming out. It was pretty bad. It was pretty torrential, folks. Anyways, guys, I think I'm going to conclude this thing. I hope you guys enjoyed the walk and found it relaxing, informative, and if not, a little bit entertaining. There's another deer. Ooh, where'd he go? There he is. Wow. I'm out of here, folks. I hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching. Hit the like, hit the sub. It would help me out a lot. It would encourage me to continue to keep producing this content. So thanks for tuning in. And until next time, guys, this is Antonio signing off.